What if you could travel every 90 days?
Seriously, not someday, but starting this year.
We used to have one of those travel dream boards, covered in magazine cutouts, places we'd love to go.
Well, that board is gone.
Now we have a travel calendar, and let me tell you, it's usually pretty full.
Yeah. So for the past few years, we've taken a real significant trip every single quarter, all the while keeping our full-time, non-remote jobs.
And no, we didn't win the lottery or get a surprise call from our long-lost rich uncle. The
Dang
secret
it.
was just a system.
Right. So we were stuck in that classic cycle, get super inspired, talk endlessly about all the places that we wanted to see, and then life would just get in the way.
Those someday trips were starting to feel more like never trips. We get that feeling that you have to quit your job just to see the world. We were right there with you.
Yeah, but all that changed when we stopped making a wish list and started building a framework. And today we're pulling back the curtain on the exact bucket list system we use to turn our travel dreams into an actual calendar. The problem with most bucket lists.
All right, so first things first, we have to admit that the traditional bucket list is kind of broken. Most of them are just dreamy collections of wishes, right?
Yeah, they live in a notes app or on a Pinterest board, but they never actually make it to our calendar and into reality because they actually don't influence how we spend our time or our money.
The reason they usually fall is simple. They're aspirational, but they're not actionable. They're not decision-making tools.
So we threw that whole idea out, and instead of a never-ending list of wants, we decided to build something with a little more structure and a lot more intention. So we built a 4-step process that turns those vague desires into booked flights.
Step 1 is all about creating what we call the possibility bucket list. And no, it doesn't mean just listing every pretty place we've ever seen on Instagram. This is about connecting destinations to what you actually value.
So you ask yourself what kind of experiences you generally want to have, what makes you feel alive.
So are you chasing adventure?
Is it total relaxation?
Cultural immersion?
Or maybe you just want to learn something new.
After we brainstorm and write down every place we want to go before we die, we organize our list into 3 categories that immediately make it feel a little less overwhelming. All right, the first, the big trip. This is your one major anchor trip for the year. This is the one that might need a bit more timing, a bit more of a budget, and it could be a safari in Kenya, it could be a 2-week road trip through Italy.
It could be, 14 days in the British Isles? Yeah. So the second one would be what we call the long weekend. So these are your shorter 3 to 4 day trips that are way easier to plan and budget for. So you think of going to a nearby city or one that's, 1 day flight or, very close.
Close, yeah.
So think nearby, someplace that you want to explore in a weekend. National parks would be a good place to start.
Yeah, for sure. Or Music City, right?
Oh, yeah, Music City. That would be a great one.
So then there's the low-hanging fruit. So these are the awesome micro-adventures or local experiences that still scratch that travel itch, the experience, right? Exploring a new neighborhood, taking a day trip somewhere close by. This is how you kind of begin to build momentum.
Yeah, so we're exploring Utah day trips on our channel. By categorizing like this, you're no longer staring at this huge 105 places that you want to go. You're just really looking at something that's much more structured and feels actually achievable.
Yeah, for sure. Step number 2 is you want to create a 90-day grid. So this next part is a real game changer. We run our lives on a 90-day cycle.
Yep.
4 quarters, 4 trips. We take our categorized bucket list, literally map it onto a simple grid that represents the entire year.
Yep. And we'll place our big trip in the quarter that makes the most sense. So maybe it's for weather or for time off or seasonality. A lot of times for us, we have to focus on when our busy season is at work.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we slot in the long weekends and the low-hanging fruit trips into the other quarters. So that goal can take 4, it isn't really to take 4 massive trips that will break the bank. It's more about creating rhythm. So maybe quarter one is a long weekend, and then quarter two is the big trip. Quarter three is a local camping adventure. Quarter four could be a trip to see the family. So
it looks like you mapped that after this year.
Yeah, I kind of did.
I did. Second quarter's a big trip. It'll be fun. All right, so this grid turns your abstract list into a concrete annual plan.
Mm-hmm.
You can see your entire travel year at a glance. It stops being a question of if you'll travel and more of a question of when and where.
Look, if this system is already clicking for you and you want more strategies for making travel a predictable part of your life, do us a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. We share everything we know about how to make travel less of a once-in-a-lifetime luxury and more of a habit.
Trip every quarter.
Trip every quarter.
The reverse engineered plan. So step number 3. With your 90-day grid looking good, pick your very next trip and start working backward. Let's say your big trip, quarter 2, is Italy. You know you have about 90 days to get ready, which creates a perfect natural deadline.
So now reverse engineer it. How much is it going to cost? Divide that total by the number of paychecks that you have between now and then, and boom, you've got your savings for each check.
When do you need to request time off from work? Put a reminder on your calendar for the next week.
And when is the best time to book the flight? So we all know that booking international travel, you want to book it about a few months out, that's kind of the sweet spot for international travel. Put that in your calendar.
Yeah, this way planning does become a series of small, totally manageable tasks instead of one giant, overwhelming project.
And if it isn't in your calendar, it doesn't exist. So step number 4 is the non-negotiable booking. This is the final step, and honestly, it's the most critical one. You have to put some skin in the game. The single thing that turns a fuzzy plan into a definite reality is making non-refundable decisions. So book that flight, reserve the first hotel, put some actual money into the game.
I know that's a little nerve-wracking, but the moment you have a financial stake in the trip, your entire mindset shifts. You will figure out the rest. You'll find a way to save the money. You'll arrange for the dog sitter, and you'll get your bags packed. This one action is the bridge that takes you from dreaming to actually doing.
Yeah, it yanks your bucket list right off the page and plants it firmly onto that calendar.
So there you have it. That's the system. It wasn't really about having more money or more time. It was always about having a better framework. You start by building an intentional possibility list based on what you truly value.
And then you map it onto that 90-day grid to create a predictable travel rhythm. You reverse engineer it to make that plan feel very easy.
And finally, you commit with a non-negotiable booking.
This framework is what took us from dreaming of someday to living a life filled with consistent travel.
It's not about the endless waiting, it's about intentionally achieving.
And now it's your turn. What's on your list?
We really want you to give this a go.
So go ahead, sketch out your own 90-day grid for the next year, and then in the comments, let us know where your first trip is going to be.
Thanks for watching, guys. Happy travels.